North Wilkesboro Speedway last hosted NASCAR Cup racing in 1996. However, in 2011, the super late models hit the track for one last dance at the 6/10 mile oval in the foothills of North Carolina. And tonight, the Northwest Tour, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products, hits the track for the first time in series history as it's race number 2 of the iRacing.com Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. It's the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150. Hi everybody, I'm Greg Rentz, joined by Charles Wooten. What you are seeing here is the conclusion of the B main here in this one to try to lock in our final 8 drivers. 6 will transfer from the B main here tonight. That 6th spot is currently being held by the Jimmy John 06 you see there of Josh Washington trying to hold off Isaiah Gill. They are inside 10 laps to go for the final transfer spot in the B main. To see who will it be, and there's a car down on the infield there you see. He's going to make it back safely to pit road as lap traffic is beginning to fill the windshield of our leaders. You see them working their way here. Garrett Archer leading the way right now. We had 56 cars attempt to qualify for this one, so what we're going to do is we're going to sit back, let you enjoy the last of this B main for the transfer spot, and then Charles and I will catch you back with all the action as soon as this race goes checker flag. Thanks for watching us here on LSR TV and CRN Sports Radio. And there you have it, race fans. The B main is completed. We ran a little bit long. We had a massive pile up in the C main, which took a while to get sorted out. That's why we were a little bit delayed here. But Garrett Archer out of Black Diamond, Washington is your B main winner tonight. He transfers in along with Bryce Beatty, Garrett Huffines, Hayden Plybon, Brock Denny, and Josh Washington are your 6 drivers to transfer in from the B main on position. 2 more positions to be set off of provisional times, those being points from last year. Want to bring in my co-announcer here tonight, the executive producer here at LSR TV, and the man manning the cameras, Charles Wooten. And Charles, this is a racetrack that has had so much racing history, and me and you were so excited when North Wilkesboro was announced to be coming to the iRacing server that we just jumped at the gun to get here, and we are so excited to bring you super late model racing here at this historic venue tonight.
Yeah, it is an amazing historic venue. Absolutely. I love coming to this track every chance we get. So to be here, with what LSR TV and Race on Texas, 52 Media, what we pride ourselves on, short track racing, whether it's, dirt or asphalt, you can't ask for a better scenario. Super late models on an iconic, fast, short track. I'm like kid in a candy store right now, Greg.
Super late models again. We talked about Sorry, we talked about it a little bit during the end of that B main here. Last ran this race in 2011 at this racetrack. It was a race simply known as The Race. It paid $75,000 to win. A fellow by the name of Chase Elliott picked up the victory that night, just 14 years old. He won another race here today. He won something big today, but more on that later, because we have to talk about someone else who was in that race. One of our drivers from the Northwest, which many of these drivers have ties to and grew up watching. His name is Garrett Evans. He competed in that race at North Wilkesboro as well. Well, Garrett Evans just so happens to also own the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, which, Charles, just so happens to be tonight's proud sponsor of the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150 here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Tonight, Wenatchee Valley stepping up big for this one because we have something I don't think has ever been done here on LSR TV, because not only is the race winner getting a prize pack courtesy of the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, one of our lucky viewers is also going to win the very same prize pack courtesy of tonight's sponsor, the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. Charles, let's explain how our viewers can get their hands on it.
Yes, and I do, it involves a little bit of work. Yeah, nothing's free in this world, correct? It's free, but you gotta put in the effort to do it. And it's very simple. I don't know anybody, Greg, that doesn't own a smartphone these days, or a dumb phone, or some sort of phone that can take a photo. That's really all you gotta do, and tag some people. That's all you have to do to get this.
That's right. All you got to do, take a picture of how you're watching this race. If you've got it up on your TV, if you've got it up on your computer, you're sitting there with the family or the dog or whoever, or even if you're just sitting somewhere watching it on your phone, take a picture of wherever you are watching this race and then post it on Facebook, and make sure you tag at LSR TV and at iRacing Northwest Tour. If you post that, the drivers are going to vote on which picture is the winner at Wednesday night's practice session in Iowa, preparing for next weekend's race at Iowa Speedway, race number 3 of the tour, which comes up next Sunday. At practice on Wednesday, they will vote on which picture is the winner, and then the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval will contact you for your shipping information to get you a prize pack, which includes a koozie, a WVSO sticker, and the big one, a Wenatchee Valley Super Oval t-shirt will be included in the prize pack as well. So make sure you take a picture of how you're watching the race, post it on Facebook, tag at LSR TV and at iRacing Northwest Tour. Make sure it lights up bold so we can see you. And then you are automatically entered into what I believe is the first ever LSR TV and possibly even the first ever sim racing share your seat contest here in the world of iRacing.
Yeah, I would venture to guess probably the first one ever. I know it's the first one on the channel, at least since we've taken it over. And I would, like I said, I would venture to guess the first one pretty much ever here, of course, with the Northwest iRacing Tour Series here presented by Joe's Racing Products. And Greg, we have an extended show here. I told you, go to Joe's Racing Products and we're going to list some items. I heard there's over 10,000 items on that website. We have an extended show, but I don't think we have quite enough time to go through all 10,000 items.
That would be a big old negative. That is quite the list of items to go through for Joe's Racing Products, but you can get just about any racing product that you want here from Joe's Racing Products, our proud sponsor of the iRacing.com Northwest Tour. What you do is you can log on to summitracing.com and then enter Joe's Racing Products into the search bar, and that will pop up with everything that Joe's Racing Products, based right here in the Northwest, can offer you to help your racing program. Thousands upon thousands of items available, all at the tip of your fingers. We cannot thank Joe's Racing Products enough for stepping up once again and sponsoring the tour. This is a multi-year partnership partnership, and we are so happy to have them on board. Unfortunately, we do not have our Joe's Racing Products pit reporter here tonight, Wesley Outland. He's at Real World Obligations. He's at the National 100 down in Alabama tonight. Over 225 late models on dirt for the National 100 at East Alabama Motor Speedway. They're just starting the A main down there as we went on the air. So, unfortunately, we do not have Wesley here. So, Charles, it's up to me and you to try to figure everything out, what's going on down on pit road. And there were already quite a few tempers flaring in the C and B main. So, you can expect more of the same here tonight in the A main tonight, 150 laps.
Yeah, there wasn't much tapping out, maybe wanting to knock out as in someone else's lights. But there was definitely some beating and banging going on. As you'll see, we're going to take as we do, a high quality photo, maybe even a video of it from the C main, as we have that footage, just not readily available. Whether you call it a parking lot, a junkyard, whatever you want to call it, there was definitely a pile up in the C main, and well, there was about 12 to 15 cars involved in it all total.
Yeah, we got a picture of it. I just don't know if it will be able to be shown on the broadcast, but there was quite a few cars involved in this one. You mentioned not a lot of tap out. That's in reference to the tap out rule that the Northwest Tour has in place. What that means is it's a self-policing series. What that means is there are certain drivers that are review board members that review all cautions involved after the race, and whoever is at fault is given a penalty. However, there's a little thing called the tap out rule. And what that is if you are involved in the caution and you tee up and you let race officials know, hey, I feel like I was at fault in that, I could have done something to prevent that, I'll take the EOL penalty, I'll fall to the back. No further punishment there. You just take your penalty and fall to the back. But, however, if you do not tap and you are determined after review to be at fault, that's when the penalties come into play. We saw a bit of that in the C main tonight. Don't think we had that issue in the B main tonight, but we did see an incident in the C main that had to go to review, waiting for penalties to be handed down at the conclusion of the night. But the tap out rule, if you tap out and say, hey, that I may have been at fault in that, there was something I could have done to prevent it, I will take the tap and I'll fall to the back. No further punishment after just taking the EOL penalty. That is it. That's what Cody was talking about there with the tap out rules. So what that means, again, self-policing, that's what we were talking about there.
Yeah, Greg, you put the fancy terms on it, whether it's tap out, whatever you want to call it. It's no real different than when you're growing up as a kid and your parents said, did you take that cookie out of the cookie jar? No. You sure? No. And then they find the cookie in your room, and then you get in trouble. You're going to be in worse trouble if they have to go and catch you or find out themselves that you did it instead of just confessing to it. So confess to the crime. You were involved in it. You hit them, whatever, and you're getting less of a penalty. If they have to go to the review board, which is a top secret organization that nobody knows who they are, you're going to get a much severe penalty. And let's be honest, nobody wants to get a worse penalty. But then again, if you wreck somebody or dump them on purpose, you may not want to fess up to it either.
That is correct. And when you say that it's a top secret organization, you don't know who we are. We know it's drivers in the field. They are drivers that are in the field. The thing is, we don't know which drivers they are. In fact, I believe it may change every race. The admins and the powers that be may tap 5 different drivers on the shoulder each race and say, hey, you're on review board for this race. We don't know who the review board is, and when that's the case, you definitely want to be on guard, because you don't know if you are involved in an incident you don't tap. Maybe one of those drivers in the incident with you are on the review board, and could you imagine if a review board member was caught up in a mess that you did not tap out to?
Yeah, that would definitely not be good. And keep in mind too, because this is it's different and possibly changes. We have yet to run into the scenario where a possible member that's one of these top secret organization members, as we call them, is the one causing it. So there's a lot of things that could go crazy here, and we are getting word, of course, that the new server is up, so we'll be getting to that in there. And Greg, I think we're going to see some really good racing here tonight.
Oh, this is North Wilkesboro. We always see fantastic racing at this 0.6 of a mile track. How excited was everybody? We already talked about how excited we were personally, but overall, the reaction to when it was announced that North Wilkesboro was coming to the iRacing server was just off the charts. We've never seen any reaction like this. I still remember the day that it launched. Once the update was complete on the computer and I went in to see what all was going on, I have never seen so many sessions at one track being hosted at the same time. There was about 45 different races going on in North Wilkesboro at one point during the first day it was available, and that was even before the 1987 cars came to town, which was originally going to be included in a package deal with North Wilkesboro. But the incredible demand of the Speedway led to what I think is the first I've ever seen on iRacing. It led to an early release by quite a few weeks before the traditional Week 13 release dates.
Yeah, and I'm just sitting here checking social media. Big shout out to the ones. Some of them you'll know, some of them I'll know. Of course, we do have Shauna watching with Brandon Kreutz, and there are several others. Looks like we got Sebastian watching. With an Xbox controller as well in his hand. Let's see. I'm not going to try to pronounce some of these last names because I'm not going to butcher them. Rita out there watching. There are photos already starting to come in. So people are taking this challenge very seriously, and that's good because there are serious prizes on the line as well.
Absolutely. A big thank you to our sponsor for tonight's race, Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, here for stepping up one of my two home tracks, Charles. I'm so proud to be able to bring one of my real-life tracks over here to iRacing, just to be a small part of what we've got cooking here. And, while we wait for practice to get underway, tech is still going on, the final few drivers, why don't we give the viewers at home that might not know, why don't we give them a little taste of what they can see at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. We'll be right back. Hopefully we'll be underway here with final practice here for the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150, brought to you by Joe's Racing Products. You're watching LSR TV and CRN Sports Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, your need for speed. For all the fun and racing action in Central Washington, go to Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. That keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole entire night. A family fun operational facility with a playground for the kids, great food, great beer, and so much more. The 2021 season passes are on sale now, along with gift cards. For all the information in the upcoming season, check out WVSO.com.
Welcome back to North Wilkesboro here, ladies and gentlemen, for the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150. And Charles, I was talking a little bit about it before we went to commercial. That's one of my home tracks. That's one of the tracks I get to announce that. I'm lucky to get to announce there every week. And unfortunately, with everything that happened, we did not get to have the season that we wanted this year. But this was going to be a very special year, Charles, as there's already some action going on off of turn number 4 there. But this season, 2020, was planned to be the 50th anniversary season of the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. Opened in 1970, and that was going to be the 50th anniversary. Unfortunately, with everything that happened in this crazy world, in this crazy year of 2020, things just didn't get to happen the way we wanted it to. What that means, though, is we're coming back with a vengeance in 2021. I can guarantee you right now, speaking on behalf of the track, 2021 will be the biggest year of racing in history at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. We're going to give the race fans the 50th anniversary season that they deserve. That's coming up starting in April next year.
Yeah, definitely. This year has been a wild year, to say the least. You always joke about it, but I'll be glad to put 2020 in the books. Move on to 2021, and hopefully things get back to normal here as far as racing goes. I know I kind of got lucky. I got almost a whole season in racing here. But, we just didn't care. We were going to race regardless of anything. So I know a lot of places weren't as fortunate, but again, a lot of big things are planned for 2021. And a lot of places, I know, Greg, and I'm sure it'll be at your track as well, these places that didn't get to race this year, they're taking that money that would have been and they're doubling it down on 2021. So these races that were already big are going to be even bigger next year.
Oh, I am willing to bet that not just Wenatchee Valley, but my other track, Hermiston Raceway, which will also be stepping up and sponsoring a race later on in the season, will be doing exactly that. Two tracks that did not get to have the big seasons that they planned, and both are prepared for big races. And there are several other tracks in the Northwest alone that I can think of that are already saying, all right, we need to make this big. We need to make big things happen in 2021 to make up for what we didn't get to do in 2020. And it is going to be, I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to make a prediction. 2021, if everything gets to happen the way we want it to, of course, we're still not out of the woods just yet. It's still 2020. Things can still happen. But if 2021 gets to go the way that we want, I'm going to make a bet right now. 2021 will be the biggest year for short track racing in the nation. Not just here in the Northwest or down in Texas where you are. We're going to see the biggest year for short track racing in history coming up in 2021 because that many people want to make up for what happened this year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's going to be massive all over the place. It's one of those things, you don't get to do something one year, it takes you off to no end, and you come back even bigger and better and stronger the year after. That's what we're going to do, whether it's racing, really anything. I would say the whole country at this point. They're tired of this. They're going to come back even stronger, and that's how racing is going to do. There's one thing you don't do to a race car driver, and that's take the racing away from them. You just can't do that. So, yeah, 2021 is going to be huge. And, of course, on the real side, here on the sim side, it's going to be pretty big as well. As a lot of people already know, LSR TV bought Upper Edge Racing, and in 2021, you may see some of these guys coming over there on Tuesday with us as we're going to run a super late model Sierra Tour and a super late model tour on dirt. So we're going to have two super series going on.
I'm going to put the word out to our drivers about coming and running on Tuesday nights moving forward here with the brand new Upper Edge Super Late Model Series coming in 2021 here on LSR TV. And Charles, that's just the start. We have been planning some big things for Upper Edge Racing, and I'm not talking about we as in a whole. I'm talking me and you. We've been bouncing ideas off each other ever since this deal came together about what we wanted to do, things we could get done here with the new Upper Edge Racing Series coming to LSR TV in 2021. Those Super Late Model Series, the paved and the dirt series, that is just the start of some of the ideas that you and I have concocted here for this new league. This is going to be wild in 2020.
It is definitely going to be wild. And again, we want to remind you here as we have just a few more minutes. We know they're going to advance to the race. They're getting a little bit of practice here in about 5 or so minutes. Tag iRacing Northwest Tour and LSR TV on Facebook of how you're watching this race could win you a really cool prize. That you can get that prize package, and Greg will tell you a little bit more of that. But make sure you have to take a photo, a selfie, whatever, if it can be in the background. How are you watching the race? And Greg, you'll give more of that. But I've seen some pretty big TVs come in here too.
I'm looking through and seeing some of them here. I'm liking what I see here with fans watching it at home. So again, make sure you tag at LSR TV and at iRacing Northwest Tours. Hello, Jason Berg. I just saw you in the chat. Jason Berg, the Season 2 champion of this series. Hopefully, Mr. Berg, we can get you back out here sometime in the near future. Season 2 champion of the Northwest Tour. But again, that prize package, courtesy of tonight's sponsor, the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. What the race winner is getting an identical one. So what the race winner is getting tonight, you're getting the exact same thing if you are selected as the winner. It is a Wenatchee Valley Super Oval sticker, a Wenatchee Valley Super Oval beer koozie to help keep those ice-cold beverages nice and cool as you sit at home watching here through the winter, and the piece de resistance to me, which I love these because I love working at this track. I love collecting the t-shirts every single year at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. You're getting a WVSO t-shirt as well if you are selected as the winner. The winner will not be announced right away because the drivers of the Northwest Tour, they are going to determine the winner. Again, we talked about it at the Iowa practice session on Wednesday. During the practice session for Iowa, the race coming up next Sunday here on LSR TV, the drivers will vote. They will go through all the pictures and they will vote on which one is the winner of the prize package. So keep your eyes on the message for someone from either the track, from the tour, maybe LSR TV. We haven't figured out exactly who it is going to be that reaches out, but someone will be messaging you in the coming days if your picture is selected as the winner. So keep those pictures coming in. The winner will be voted on by the drivers on Wednesday night, and we will get to see who gets it done here in the race and which of our lucky fans are taking home a prize.
And also, I want to put this out there to all the drivers that didn't make the race and all the fans out there watching. You know, one, you need to get your picture in. Two, we have 45 people tuning in here right now. Last week, as we advance, 82 people watching. We've set the goal at 100. That's where we want to get to tonight. So, share it out there. There's a lot of people that follow this series, so make sure you share it out there. Get everyone tuning in here tonight and see if we can't break that 82 mark and get to the 100 mark. Definitely going to be something to look at. But, Greg, it's time for the grid as we will have just about 2 laps around this track.
It is time to kick the tires and light the fires as we move on into our ComServe Wireless starting grid 16-car invert from qualifying, which puts the number 33 of Josh Beal on the pole in his brand new Mike Wood Race Designs custom fab entry alongside Garrett Sisk, paying tribute to JC Wofford tonight in the number 1. That's row number 1. Defending champion of the series, Seth Frazier, in car number 32, rolling off P3 with Casey Garber to his outside in 4th, Charles.
And row 3 is going to be Ryan Gormley in that 44 machine, and the 20 of Nick Bellamy. And row number 4 going to be Dylan Huffines and Cole Raz. I'm going over him. I just like that name, Raz there.
Keep your eye on him. He's one of the top drivers on the West Coast in iRacing. Kyle Franklin, fastest in final practice, starts 9th. With Ramathorn, Matt Hackathorn in 10th. Chris Carroll had a great debut racing the number 97, starts 11th. With Bart Hector Jr., he rolls off in 12th.
In the 8 machine, Travis Barnes, we know all about him in row 7. On the outside, him, Caden Anderson, as we've got his mugshot here in the overlays now. Row number 8 going to be the 5 of Garrett Archer, and the 07 of Bryce, I believe that's Bede.
Bryce Beatty. Bryce Beatty in the number 07. We're going to find Garrett Huffines, the 2019 Pro Late Model winner at Fall Classic in Yakima, with Hayden Plybon in the number 57 State Line Speedway champion. Brock Denny makes his tour debut in the 64. Josh Washington was the final car to transfer in. We're going to get going quickly. BJ Tidrick and Cameron Doyle, the provisionals. Shane Quinn and Joey Bird are EOL penalties for finishing in the top 3 last week. Charles, we're coming through turn 3 and 4. Race fans, wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness, because it is showtime here in North Wilkesboro. Let's kick some asphalt. The Beeler is going to wheel it off into turn number 1, leading the first 2 laps of the race, but Garrett Sisk right behind him in third. Defending series champion Seth Frazier battling with the driver that he had to hold off in the points battle last year, Montana's Ryan Gormley, who almost picked up the win as a rookie last season. 2 wins on the season for Gormley last year in an incredible rookie campaign. Behind him, Nick Bellamy and Casey Garber battling it out, along with Cole Raz. Now, Raz is a unique story because he races primarily down in Tucson, Arizona at the Tucson Speedway. However, because he resides in Lake Oswego, Oregon, which is part of the Northwest, he is eligible to compete in the series. Even though his home track is Tucson Speedway in Arizona, he lives in Lake Oswego, Oregon. He is eligible to compete in the Tour, and here he is running alongside Garber right now, the battle for 6th. He will clear barely. Yes, he will. Cole Raz up to 6th in the 21.
Yeah, and speaking of another Arizona, I believe he's in Arizona anyway, someone we don't see here tonight, and that's the driver. He's not in Arizona. The 46 Sean Wrightsman not here tonight, and neither is Pablo, his spotter, who I believe is in Arizona. His spotter not here tonight either. So interesting to see that Wrightsman is not here, and we'll zoom out just a little bit. I want to see a few more of these cars, and they've kind of got single file until you get a little deeper in this field, somewhere around 12th, 13th, 14th. These guys are still a little bit side by side, more like about 11th and 12th, but for the most part, people are really starting to calm down. They're not going too quick here. But when do you think we'll see go time here? As it's a lot of cars. You have 24 drivers. That's going to make it real difficult to get through this field.
I think you're going to see go time right around the halfway point, lap 75. But I want to talk a little bit about a follow-up to what you mentioned with Wrightsman and Pablo, a.k.a. Jeff Stab now, in the number 24 car that runs on the Cup Series. I want to talk a little bit about someone who was in the field tonight, did not make it in, did not transfer from the B main. How about the hottest driver in the Northwest Racing Series right now, Dan West Jr. in the number 55. He has locked himself to the round of 8 for both the Cup Series playoffs and the Truck Series playoffs. He did not make it through the B main tonight. That is how stacked this field is. When you've got the guy leading the points in both the Trucks and the Cup Series, not even making it into the feature in the Super Late Model Tour, that's when you know that you've got a stacked field of talent here tonight.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, you look at someone like Dan West Jr., who is just hot. I mean, he is on fire. There's got to be some steam or some smoke in that West house right now, because he just got put on ice tonight, and he did, like you said, did not make the race. Again, there was 56 something drivers went through a C main, a B main, and here to the feature. And to see someone like Dan West Jr., who dominates in the Cup and Truck, not make it in a race, it makes you wonder, will he be able to figure this car out? Is he struggling with it? What the deal is? But I don't think he'll be out for long. I think we'll see him up in the top soon.
No, you'll see Dan West Jr. up here making some noise in the series before the end of the year, guarantee it. Garrett Siska's gotten around Josh Beal in number 33 for the race lead and has opened it up about half a second over Beal. Wenatchee's Seth Frazier and Ryan Gormley from Montana right there behind him. Then we find Bellamy and Cole Raz. Then a little bit back to Casey Garber, who's by himself. Side by side between Kyle Franklin and Dylan Huffines back there. Huffines able to clear Franklin now to keep the 8th spot into number 7. One car having a little bit of connection issues behind them. That may be the 8 of Travis Barnes.
That is correct.
It is a little bit of connection issues on the number 8 of Barnes. And behind him, we find Caden Anderson, who was a lot of people's picks to win the championship this season in the Tour. Off to a pretty good start here tonight, Charles, because he got quick time tonight at North Wilkesboro out of 56 cars. That was his second straight pole position as Kyle Franklin with a big slide into number 11, and Barnes has to peek to the inside. Barnes, another one of those guys who they were saying might be able to make quite a bit of noise this season. 3 wins last year for Barnes. Anderson was off to a hot start last year. 2 wins in the first 3 races. Unfortunately, some issues outside of the series forced him to not be able to finish the rest of the season, so he had to take the rest of the year off. He's back with a vengeance this year, looking for a championship, as he's going to get to the inside of Franklin now as he slides up out of the way of Barnes.
Yeah, he's going to slide up. And, you know, Travis Barnes, someone you always have to look for. You definitely want to qualify for this race, though, as we still look to the front, and there's still a battle going on here. That is the 32, the 33, and the 20 of Frazier, Beal, and Bellamy, as they are just duking it out right now. Some really, really good racing. 20 laps into this 150-lap race, and we are so far caution-free. I'll probably knock on some wood because I probably just jinxed us there, but caution free so far. And well, there you go. They're making a lot of contact here between the 21 and the 33 right now of Raz and Beal.
Yeah, Cole Raz to the inside into number 21, trying to get around Beal, the pole sitter. Remember, 16-car invert here in this one. So fast time, Caden Anderson started 16th. Josh Beal qualified 16th, so he led him to green into number 33, as he's going to try to slide up the racetrack into number 33 in front of Casey Garber, which he will. Ryan Gormley now to the inside of Garber, the second-year driver out of Montana. 2 Montana drivers in the field tonight. The other one back in 16th position right now, making his A-main debut, as he did not transfer in through the B-main last week. Talking about Brock Denny in the number 64. There he is, the blue and orange car right there, making his debut in the Tour. He made 1 cup start on LSR TV earlier this year. That 1 cup start, he got the pole at Michigan, so he's got a lot of speed here in his camp out of Montana tonight. Right now, just trying to keep it clean in 16th position, transferred in through the B-main tonight. That's Garrett Huffines right in front of him. Again, the 2019 Fall Classic Pro Late Model winner out of Selah, Washington, right in front of him, going after Hayden Plybon. This year's winner, Caden Anderson, has gone around in the 37. We were just getting ready to talk about him, and Caden Anderson slides around off of turn number 4. And Charles, we have our first caution of the day. It's your quick time pole award winner, Caden Anderson, this year's Fall Classic winner. Let's take a look at the swag replay. What happened with this bright red 37 right here?
Yeah, we're going to take a look, and, you know, it makes you wonder, did he just get loose, or did he have help? And he had help from the 97.
A little bit of help from the 97 of Carroll, making his second start here tonight.
You know, the best thing is he may be going to the back here, but at least he didn't hit anything. You know, you don't want to get any damage. It's going to take you quite a bit of time to fix it there, because you have to sit, and I believe they may have 1 fast repair. But you still don't want to get any damage, and if you have it, you don't want to use it right away anyway. So good news for him, he didn't hit anything. And, you know, while we're under caution, this is where we talk a little bit about that tap out rule. And you see the 97 slowing down. I believe he took that tap out, said he was at fault, and he's going to get the EOL and go to the back.
Yes, he did tap out. So Chris Carroll, no further punishment necessary. He took the tap. He is okay. He's going to fall to the back, and the discipline will end there. It's out the window. It's forgotten. However, if someone does not tap, which we saw a case like that in the C main, couple drivers involved in an incident, neither one took the tap, and it went to review to see who it was from there. Not sure what the punishment will be, but do know they were discussing it. Again, if you tap out, if you feel you're at fault, no further punishment. And we saw it last week, Charles. We saw someone who was completely not at fault. He took the tap anyway, just in case there was something he could have done to avoid it. So just because you're not necessarily at fault doesn't mean there was something you could have done to prevent the caution from coming out. So we see some drivers tap automatically if they're involved, just in case there was something that could have been done to prevent that.
Yeah, and while we're under caution, the lights are off. We're going to get this one quickly in. We got about 60 people out there tuning in here tonight. I haven't checked on the Facebook side of things. There's another 10 or so out there. But if you're watching, take a picture of how you're watching, of your TV. It can be you with your TV in the background, your whole family. We've seen one of those already here tonight. Let us know. Tag LSR TV, and of course also tag Northwest iRacing Northwest Tour on Facebook, and you'll be entered for a prize. We'll tell you that prize here in a minute as the green flag is back out in the air and waving. But a good little prize there as Sisk still leads this race over Frazier.
That prize comes courtesy of our proud sponsor tonight, the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, one of our real-life tracks here in the Northwest that many of these drivers in this field have competed at. Seth Frazier in the number 32, the defending series champion for this series, the Northwest Tour. He also won a championship at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval this year in the Dix Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder Cars. Saw a little bit of that in that little highlight package that we aired earlier today. Seth Frazier dominated that series this season at Wenatchee, winning the championship. So a Wenatchee track champion from this year, the shortened season, competing here on the iRacing Northwest Tour, up to second. He also happens to be the defending champion of this series, Charles.
Yeah, and the 21, by the way, just scraped the wall there. That is Cole Raz. He smacked that wall ever so slightly, but it wasn't enough to slow him down. But yes, definitely that prize is going to be something to work. And the 21 and the 33 get together. And, we're going to have to take a close look at that as they're going to quickly go back here and take a look at the swag replay, and hopefully we went back far enough to take a look here as we'll go to the drone view.
We got caution, Charles.
Yeah, caution's out. We're on the replay right now. Watch this. So watch the 33 and the 21. That's what I want to see.
All right, so we're watching Beal and Raz here in the 33 and 21. A little bit of a slide there. Was that Barnes underneath? Yes, it was.
And right there, he just gets into his bumper. Oh, and the 50, or the 96 getting involved, and I believe the 44 as well. So just unfortunate there for those guys. But again, we harp on it a lot. But that tap out rule, the question is, and will the 21 take it? The 21's coming down pit road. So,
well, Josh Beal has tapped in the number 33. Right. Beal took the tap on that one. However, there are still several other instances involved there, so we'll see. Cole Raz did tap into number 21, so they both tapped. They both said, you know what, that may have been my fault. I'm going to take the tap. So there we see it again. Both drivers tapping on that one, just in case, hey, I may have been at fault there. I don't think it was all my fault, but there may have been something I could have done to prevent it. Both Beal and Raz taking the tap on that one.
Yeah, and it's almost a no-brainer at this point, Greg, to take the tap, especially when you have that much damage. He was coming down pit road anyway. You might as well tap just to be safe, in my opinion. You're already going to be at the back of the field anyway, so you go ahead, take the tap, go to the back, save yourself any headache after the race, and admins having to do it. And, again, we refer to them as the top secret review committee that reviews all these. I'm sure when you tap, they're probably, not going over the radio, but they're saying to themselves, thank goodness, that's one less thing I have to review after this race.
I can confirm that because we have a development series, the B League, we call it. I'll have to talk more about it. But I competed in the season opener for the B League at USA in the street stocks, and I had an instance where I had to tap, and a member of the review board, I will not say his name, but he said, yeah, hey, thank you, Greg. That makes our job easier up here in the tower. Coming to green here on lap number 37, going to make it 38. Garrett Sisk, Seth Frazier, your front row, back underway here at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150.
And it's going to be a good one. It has been so far. Just a handful of cautions. 38 laps into this race, and the battles are on right now. Is the 32 getting a little loose? He taps the 20. Wow, what a save for both of them.
Great job by both Frazier and Bellamy there to keep it going. By the way, Brock Denny has worked his way up into the top 10. We talked about him into number 64. To the inside, though, is the Rocket Racing 82 of Bart Hector Jr. running around right now inside of Hayden Plybon in the number 57. Plybon, one of the up-and-coming stars of late model racing here in the Northwest, picked up a championship at State Line Speedway earlier this season, a 3-win season for Plybon. Big slide behind him. Who was that? Breaking loose there. That may have been Beatty in the 07. Yeah, no, it was Huffines in the 42 who broke loose. Beatty right behind him. Ready to capitalize is Cameron Doyle on the inside. Doyle, another one of our Wenatchee Valley drivers here in this one. He competes in the Dixie and air conditioning Thunder cars alongside Seth Frazier. He has to check up, though, to avoid running into the back of Brock Denny, which allows B-main winner Garrett Archer to get a run on the outside. By the way, Charles, we talked about it a moment ago, how Garrett Evans went and raced at the last super late model race at North Wilkesboro. Northwest Racing legend, owns the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. Garrett Archer in the 5 car, he was named after Garrett Evans. That's how much of an impression that Garrett Evans has left in racing here in the Northwest. A kid who was named after him. Here he is competing in the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval race here tonight on iRacing, which Garrett Evans owns that facility.
Yeah, that's it's always something you can pride yourself on when you were named after somebody that was a big influence. It definitely makes you feel a little special, and he's doing a good job. He's just outside the top 10 right now in 12th, but I'm sure we'll see him in the top 10 here soon. And just like last week, I know we can see it. Hopefully the fans out there can see it. These brake rotors are absolutely just glowing, but I want to quickly go to the front as we got a battle for the lead now.
We get a battle for the lead between Sisk and Bellamy, and Barnes closing in as well, trying to make it a 3-car battle. Barnes trying the outside, almost getting up in the Bellamy there. Barnes on the outside, able to get to the door of Bellamy. Barnes 3 wins on the tour last year in his rookie season. Last win was at Lanier. This, of course, the first time the tour has visited North Wilkesboro. Your top 5 right now: Sisk, Bellamy, Barnes, Frazier, and Hector into number 82. Rounding out your top 5 right now. Look at the battle right now. 3 cars throw a blanket over him as here comes Barnes with a run on the outside. Almost getting into it again with Bellamy there. But they keep it clean. No contact there. They keep going. Bellamy able to get it up. This time they will touch. And Barnes getting into the wall there. Bellamy and Barnes, they're exchanging pleasantries on the driver's communication right now. So we'll have to see what comes of it there.
Yeah, Greg, while they're doing this, typically if I was the race leader, I would be like, yeah, boys, just beat and bang. But the problem is, look how close it is. It's the 8 gives him a tap, another tap, hits the 20, and that's may or may not bring out a caution. We'll see.
Caution,
no, it doesn't.
But we have a new leader.
We have a new leader,
Travis Barnes. And Seth Frazier, he's going to be the big winner out of all of this because he's going to go to second and try to get a run at the lead now of Travis Barnes in the number 8. So Barnes leading the lap after having some contact there with Garrett Sisk. No cautions, so no review, no tap or anything like that. But I wonder if the review board will go back and take a look and figure out exactly what happened there between Barnes, Bellamy, and Sisk.
Greg, I hate to dispute your claim there, but there was definitely some taps there. they were just from the 8's nose to the back bumper of the leader. So there were some taps that just weren't because of a caution.
Yeah, different kind of tap there on that one. So it's Barnes, Frazier, Bellamy, Plybon, Hector, Franklin up to 6th in the Jegs entry. Garrett Sisk, Brock Denny, Garrett Huffines, Cameron Doyle, your top 10 right now. It'll settle down single file for the most part. The first side-by-side battle is back here for the 13th spot between Shane Quinn and Matt Hackathorn in the number 84.
Oh, we got one
Quinn,
going around.
there's a caution that came just behind them. Looking to see who it
24
was.
of Joey Bird.
Joey Bird, second place at USA last week. Birdman was second place, had to start at the back because of the EOL penalty as top 3 go to the back. We have something else to talk about that we didn't hit on just yet. As you take a look at the swag replay of what happened here with Joey Bird.
And either somebody got a good run right there, the 44, give him a shot in the shorts, and that was probably the lightest tap you could give somebody, but he does go around. So unfortunate for him, and we'll see who taps. And you mentioned we haven't talked about something here.
Yeah, we talked about the top 3 in EOL penalties. Notice who did not get an EOL penalty because he's not in the field. Gary Smith, the winner last week, another one of those drivers who was knocked out in the B main. Last week's winner, who led the most laps by a mile at USA, did not transfer into the A main because of stuff that happened in the B main. Just another case of how stacked this field is. By the way, both Gormley and Bird tapping on that one. Both drivers saying, yeah, I could have done a little bit different there to avoid that happening. So both Bird and Gormley taking the tap on that one.
Yeah, and again, we're going to drive this point home here. 2 points, really. 1, the tap rule. You got to tap. And 2, we still got about almost 70 people tuning in here tonight, whether you're on YouTube or actually more than that. We got 19 over on YouTube as well, or on Facebook, sorry. If you're watching, make sure you take a photo of how you're watching. We've had them be of just their TV. We've had them be of the whole family. If you want to take it selfie style with the TV behind you with your Xbox controller, we've seen that already. Send it to us. Tag, of course, LSR TV, iRacing Northwest Tour. Tag both of them in the photo, and we're going to be giving away the prize. And I know you're up there, Greg, so I keep letting you mention it. You get some stickers, or a sticker, and some other goodies.
You get a sticker, you get a beer koozie to keep your ice-cold beverages cold while you're watching the iRacing.com Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. But the big one for me is the t-shirt. I love collecting all the t-shirts and sweatshirts from all the various racetracks that we hit here in the Northwest. With Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, just one of my many tracks that I get to go to every year. I get to announce there every year. So I'm just so lucky to be able to do it. And I got so many Wenatchee t-shirts and sweatshirts, and you can have one as well. And all you got to do is enter it on Facebook, post a picture of how you're watching the race, tag LSR TV and iRacing Northwest Tour on Facebook, and you're automatically entered. The drivers are going to vote on who wins at their practice session on Wednesday at Iowa Speedway, getting ready for Iowa's race coming up next week here on LSR TV.
Yeah, it's gonna be an awesome event, and we just got another registration for the Power Eye and Midget Eye Nationals. So if you're on iRacing and you like dirt racing, you like midget racing, you like big money, well, and that registration is still open. We'll get to a little bit later on that as the green flag is back out. And it looks like single file restarts here, Greg, as we've had too many cautions. The admin said, nah, we're going single file from here on out.
Single file, hoping to clean up the racing here. And next caution, we'll talk a little bit about some of the stuff you can catch on LSR TV, because those Power Eye Midget Nationals that you mentioned, just one of many great main events coming up here on LSR TV in the future. We've hit a little bit on some of the stuff we've got planned, but there's so much coming up here on LSR TV. We'll talk all about that at the next caution, as Barnes leading the way. He's opened it up about half a second now over Seth Frazier in the 32. Nick Bellamy back in third in the 20. Plybon up in fourth now. He's having a great run in the number 57. here, Charles. Great run for the youngster out of Meade, Washington. He called State Line Speedway his home track, won the championship there this past season, and here he is in 4th right now after racing his way in from the B main. He started 18th in this one, finished 2nd in the B main. Here he is up in the 4th position. He's plus 14. He's the biggest mover of the race thus far.
Yeah, and as we go on board with him here, we had to beg and plead to get this camera placed here on all these cars. Just, it's a very unsafe for a camera, but we got it on there anyway. As you can see, just in front of him, of course, is Bellamy, Frazier, and Barnes, your front 3. And, you talk about all the time how aerodynamics affect racing, how they do this, how they do that. They are not a factor here tonight, because look at Travis Barnes up there as we zoom in on that there. He's got quite a bit of damage to the both front left and front right, and still maintaining this lead. So aerodynamics not a factor with these cars here at this short little track at North Wilkesboro.
0.6 of a mile, the racing surface here at North Wilkesboro. In the foothills of North Carolina, Travis Barnes leading the way, looking for his 4th win on the tour, which would tie him with the guy right behind him, Seth Frazier, for 2nd all-time in tour victories. The leader of that has 12 on the season. That's Mr. Jason Berg, who I've seen pop up in the chat a couple of times. And Bergles, all I'm saying is we need to get you back out here, and I want to see if you can go up against these guys, this incredible talent that we've gotten here. I want to see if you can come back and do just what you did back 2 years ago on your championship season. I'm calling out my buddy Jason Berg to come back here to the iRacing Tour, and I want to see if he can do exactly what he did 2 years ago in the season that he just dominated, Charles.
Yeah, definitely dominated, and we got one more coming in. This one actually was just PM to the LSR TV, private message area from Mike Wood. I believe that, of course, would be Mike Wood Designs, watching in North Carolina on his TV. So, people are sending in their shots from everywhere here so far, so make sure you get them in. 62 people out there tuning in just on YouTube, about 20 or so on Facebook, and they're all watching Travis Barnes lead this race. And we got some issues there with the 4 of Shane Quinn. He didn't cause a caution, but he was down to about 30 miles an hour, so definitely something happened to him.
Something going on with Shane Quinn. We'll see if maybe we can go back and find what happened. He's driving one of those Mike Wood designed race cars. We'll talk a little bit more about that here as we take a look at the swag replay. Bryce Beatty and Chris Carroll sliding underneath him, and Quinn got the worst of it there, getting down into the grass. So Carroll trying to get to the inside, just slid, broke loose, and unfortunately Shane Quinn got the worst of it in this Quinn's Property Management's number 4, painted by Mr. Mike Wood of Mike Wood Race Designs down in Middlesex, North Carolina. He has painted so many of these great cars here in this field, Charles. So many cars here sporting the Mike Wood paint scheme here tonight, including our defending champion Seth Frazier. He has done so many amazing cars, including my own super late model, which I know you like. I sent you the picture of it. I know you like the look of my super late model. That was done by Mr. Wood. And if you're interested, give him a shout. One car having problems, that's Garrett Sisk in the number 1. Not sure what happened to the pole sitter, Garrett Sisk, but he went from in front of that whole field to the back. He lost 4 spots on that one as Josh Beal pulling into the pit road. Not sure what happened to Sisk in the number 1. He was back there with Denny as Josh Beal, another one of those Mike Wood cars, just completed yesterday, actually, I believe, in that number 33, as he's coming down pit road, as he's got to go all the way to pit stall number 1. Not the day he wanted in the 33, as he's going to have to come in for some damage repair. No fast repair for these drivers, so any damage that they have has to be repaired manually in this one, as Barnes closing in on KC Garber now. But him 1 lap down in the number 96.
Yeah, and the good part about this race here is when you come down pit road, if you have to, you don't have to worry about getting a penalty for tires, because they actually went through the new beta UI that iRacing has put out, and I actually don't even believe it's called beta anymore, just the new iRacing UI, and tires are set to 0, so you have to run the same tires. Even if you wanted to, your tire people, they got the day off. They're not coming out. Your fuel man and crew chief are, but nobody else came to the track.
Yeah, you've got your guys that made sure you had the exact same setup as everybody else, your fuel, and your crew chief, who at this point is just your spotter, because at this point, that's all you got here in this one. Battle for second between Bellamy and Frazier. Now Bellamy getting a run on the inside of Frazier. Nick trying to clear, not quite. Frazier gets a nice run on exit. But yeah, these drivers, the only tires in the house are the tires that they started on the car. This is all going on about a second behind Travis Barnes, who's loving what he sees, because contrary to what we saw with Sisk earlier, Barnes has enough of a cushion that he doesn't have to worry about it. He can just let him go out and duke it out behind him, and he can just try to drive off into the sunset and worry about trying to reel in some of that lap traffic. First up will be Cole Raz into number 21, who has heavy damage from that incident earlier with Josh Beal. It's about a little over a straightaway back to Travis Barnes right now.
Yeah, definitely. He's just checked out from this race, laid the keys on the counter of that hotel, and said, "See you later. I don't need to stay another night. I'm so far ahead." But again, this is one of those races. Anything can and probably will happen at some point. As like you said, as we'll go here and ride on board with him just for a minute and see just how close. See if we can see any of those lap cars. And there is one right there. That is Raz, I believe you talked about. So the way he's going, as much speed as Barnes has, it's not going to be long before he catches up with him. And somebody else there just came into the picture. That car was not there just a second ago, I do not believe. Maybe Casey
Huffines.
Or Huffines.
That's Dylan Huffines in the 7, and he's coming down pit road. He just moves out of the way to let Barnes go, so he's actually not coming down pit road, but something happened to the 7 a couple laps ago. We'll see if maybe we can get eyes on it and see if we can find out what happened to the 7 of Dylan Huffines. Taking a look at the swag replay here, brought to you by our friends at Swag Wraps and Graphics.
Let's see, we may have to go a little further back and
see.
See.
This is immediately after. Okay, here we go. This is Huffines right there with Shane Quinn.
Oh, just broke loose.
Just broke loose there going into turn 1.
So we knew going into this that obviously he was not the next car that was going to go a lap down. Now obviously he is a lap down, and now he's got the 20 of Bellamy right there on his back bumper. And that car not handling right now for Dylan Huffines is the number 7 is loose. It's got a lot of damage. It's ill handling, and what's worse is if you're the 20 of Bellamy or the 32 of Frazier or any of these guys behind him, this is a scary spot for you to be when you're behind a lap car that is not handling the way it needs to. And that's a scary, place to be, knowing that car could break loose and ruin your day as well.
Yeah, you do not want to be stuck behind him. You want to get around him as quickly as possible. And Huffines doing the right thing here, just staying high and just letting everybody go as he is moving up high. This time up, Plybon will get him. Going off into turn number 1, I believe, in his car. And then Hector's going to follow suit in the 82. And how about Kyle Franklin in the number 11? Up in 6th right now. Whoa, Plybon breaking very loose in the 57 up in front of him. That's going to move Hector up in the 4th in the Rocket Racing entry here going through. So move Hector to 4th, side by side between Plybon and Franklin now for 5th. Plybon able to fend Franklin off. Unfortunately for Plybon, he lost the 4th spot to Bart Hector Jr., who's now going to move after one of his best friends on track, Seth Frazier, into number 32.
And something we haven't mentioned here, the racing has been so outstanding with maybe 2 cautions, I believe, 3 tops. That 3, we are coming up with 60 to go. We've completed 90 laps when they get to the line for Travis Barnes. We are just picking up these laps and just throwing them down as quickly as we get them, as we are on a huge green flag run right now for these drivers.
Oh my goodness. And Charles, I was curious because we're talking about this green flag run. I was just curious of just how hard these drivers are having to work. Did you by chance take a look at what the current track temperature is right now? It is 88 degrees outside. This track temperature 144 degrees right now. That is the hottest a racetrack has ever been in the Northwest Tour. 144 degree track temperature. Charles, at that point, that's a dirt track.
Yeah, you know, I'm no chef by any means. I'd like to think I am, but 144 degrees, that has got to be getting up borderline to where you could actually put a steak or something on it and almost declare it fully cooked.
I'm about to go down to the pits. I think Frazier, maybe Hector, might have a tin of muffins that was just sitting out ready to go. I'm thinking those are about cooked up. I'm gonna have to go see if I can snag me a blueberry muffin from one of their pits after the race, because I think they have been sitting out just long enough. I think they're nice and baked and ready to go here on this one. That is such an insane stat. I've only seen 130 degrees here in the Northwest Tour. That happened at Phoenix, Arizona last year. So we have just set the record for the hottest track temperature. These cars are slipping and sliding around, and on the same tires that they started on, there is not going to be any grip left in these tires by the end of it. And that's going to come into play here, because now who has maybe sat the tires long enough to be able to make a charge late? Because I don't know with how Barnes is running right now, with how quickly he's going. I don't know how much more he's going to have left in those tires, as opposed to the guys who are just kind of hanging back right now. Hector and Franklin and those guys. Brock Denny trying to charge up the field right now. How much left in the tires do they have?
Yeah, it's got to be wondering how much they have left at all. And, you know, one thing, you know, I'm bouncing back and forth here, checking social media as well. And you talk about how many left. We are at 71 people tuning in on YouTube right now. We would love to get to 100 just on there. 82 was what we got to last week. We're shooting for 100. So if you got it, you like the racing, share it out. But keep in mind, we're at 72 now on there. We are currently sitting at 23 on Facebook. Greg, doing the math, that puts us somewhere around 95 people currently tuning in to watch this amazing race here with the super late models at North Wilkesboro for the iRacing Northwest Tour.
That's one of the largest audiences we've had here on LSR TV, and it makes me feel pretty good that the Northwest Tour holds two of the highest here on LSR TV. Speaking of what's coming up on LSR TV, the way they're going right now might not be a whole lot of chances to talk about what's coming up here in the next week. So while we're doing it, Dylan Huffines, by the way, has said, you know what, enough is enough. I'm going to go ahead and park my number 7 car here. So Dylan Huffines will be the first driver officially out of the race. Josh Beal, he is called out on your ticker, but he is still on pit road in the number 33, has not yet left the track. He might just be getting some of that damage repaired on the 33. But as we click laps away, we're coming up, we're just past 50 to go. We got 2 races coming up next week, or not next week, tomorrow night here on LSR TV, one of which will feature several drivers here in this race tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be good. We'll look forward to seeing so many good events coming up here on the channel. You know, and when we first got this series handed to us, you know, we always hear those series that tell you, oh, it's going to be good. We always have good racing, lots of cars. You know, we believe them. We got no reason not to. But, you know, we always have our reservations. You know, is it going to be? This series has not let down to the hype that was built up here. It's a good thing, because I'd have probably fired you, Greg.
If this series had not delivered on the promises that I was making earlier in the season, yeah, I probably would have been kicked out the door. But I promised you this was going to be a great series, and here we are. 2 races in, 55 plus cars in both races thus far have taken a shot at qualifying. 63 qualified yet last week at USA, 56 here tonight. Expecting more of the same at Iowa, as Barnes is getting really loose in the 8 cars. He's trying to get around Casey Garber in the number 96 to put him 3 laps down now. Garber again with heavy damage in the number 96. He's just trying to survive right now and move on to Iowa next week as Barnes gets around him now. 3 laps down is Garber.
Yeah, there's... Oh, good.
Sorry, Charles.
There's a lot of cars getting loose. Real quick before you get to your point there, the cars are getting loose. These tires are worn out. You know, I almost want to see it at this point. I think we're going to see at least one more caution, and it's going to stack this field up, and it's going to be interesting to see where it comes from in the field.
I'm kind of bouncing through the field trying to find where I think it's going to be, but the thing is, these drivers have settled into a rhythm. I'm not seeing anyone really look like they're in a lot of trouble. Hackathorn had a big slide off turn number 2 that last time. By the way, Josh Beal has officially put the number 33 behind the wall, and he is officially out of the race. I'm watching these drivers click away. Yes, they are breaking loose, but none of them are really making me think to the point of, wow, we're about to get a caution, because these drivers have such good control of these cars and they're maintaining the tires and they're doing a fantastic job of keeping their cars clean for the most part here on these long green flag runs. By the way, Caden Anderson, who spun out for that first caution, he's already back up in the top 10. He's up to 8th in the number 37. A lot of people's pick for the championship this season in the red 37 car. In 8th position after spinning and falling to the tail end of the field. There he is in the number 37. This year's Fall Classic Pro late model winner in that car right now. 2 wins on the tour for him. A lot of people's pick to win the title, and he's showing why as both races now. And Brock Denny's in the wall hard right in front of Anderson. Hit to Denny. We're going to stay green, but Brock Denny hit the wall hard there in the 64. Anderson able to continue on. Let's take a look at the swag replay of that one.
Yeah, well, let's. We haven't got to do it a whole lot here. We'll go to the drone here. Of course, brought to you by All American Pools. And again, you're watching the 64 and the 37. There may have been contact between them two for this, as we got a good long run there. He gets loose, and no, he hits this. Oh, and there's what we caught. So there was 2 contacts with all. One of them, was a little bump there from the 37, but no fault to Caden Anderson, as obviously Brock Denny was already loose and out of shape. So I wouldn't fault Caden Anderson at all for that.
No, Anderson just had nowhere to go there and did a great job backing it down to avoid running into Denny. Unfortunately, Denny just broke loose there off of turn number 4. He fought that thing about as hard as you can fight it before he hit the wall. He's able to continue on. He lost 5 spots there in the number 64, so he falls out of the top 10. He's now back in 13th, and he's trying to just keep on trucking in the number 64, but with that damage on the right front that he has now, that's going to be difficult the rest of the way here. I thought for sure the way that was looking, we were going to see a caution, but they were able to continue on and able to shake the cobwebs off. As you see Anderson right now trying to hold off Cameron Doyle. Anderson now in 7th after that. He's about 2 seconds back to his friend Hayden Plybon, who's in a battle with Kyle Franklin right now as they work their way around Casey Garber. Hector is checked out all by himself. He's trying to reel in these guys in front of him, being Frazier and Bellamy. Bellamy has opened it up a little bit over the 32, and they are closing on Barnes, by the way. The lead was about 2.5 seconds about 10 laps ago. It's down to 1.5 seconds. Frazier and Bellamy are closing in on Barnes. Do they have enough time if this thing stays green, though?
Yeah, that is the question. Do they have time? And we've already started to see people getting real loose, losing control of these cars. So, I don't know if it's going to be a matter of do they have time. I think we may see a caution before, this race is over and give them the shot they need. Real quick, before we get to racing stuff too, I want to point out we had shout out there. We also have Bryce Clark was in the C main and the B, watching the B, and now he's in the A, so he's sitting in how he's watching. And we also have another little family shot coming in from Carrie Turner Barnes. So I'm a relation there probably to the Barnes that's in the race. tuning in and watching as well, sending in how they're watching. So more shots being coming in. Again, we're still trying to hit that 100 mark on YouTube. 76 currently tuning in to tonight's fantastic night of racing.
Yeah, remember, the winner will be announced after practice on Wednesday for Iowa, because that's where the drivers will vote on the best picture for the contest. You have to tag both iRacing, Northwest Tour, and LSR TV on Facebook. Nick Bellamy is about a tenth faster than Barnes per lap. At the rate he's going right now, he will catch him, Charles, with about 15 laps to go at the current rate. So Nick Bellamy right now, the fastest car on the track. Can he get to Travis Barnes and get around him? Barnes, 3 wins on the season last year. Bellamy's still looking for that first career win in that number 20 car. He's about a tenth faster than Barnes right now. Also, Bart Hector Jr. is closing in on Frazier right now, trying to break onto the podium right now. As Barnes leading the way, Bellamy's still a tenth faster. Hector closing in on Frazier. They're half a second apart. Frazier is going to have to go on defense here to try to hold Hector off, as Barnes, he's going to have a mirror full of Bellamy here before too long.
Yeah, and you know, as much as I think these right now, second, third, fourth, even fifth, want to see that yellow flag waving here for only the fourth time, you know, I'm beginning to think that my announcer's curse has worn off. Maybe I need to, you know, get a refill on it, but it definitely is not working here tonight. There are some battles going on throughout this race, but they're just not taking it hard enough. They're taking it real easy and not letting any wrecks happen. So you see here, this is a battle going on between Washington and Tidrick, but they're just not pushing these cars as hard as I thought they would to bring out a caution.
No, they're really not, but we are seeing Bellamy push it right now because he has caught Travis Barnes. He was able to shave 2/10 off a lap, and I think what we talked about earlier might be starting to come true here, Charles. I think the tires on Barnes' car have been used up as much as he can, because he is sliding in the 8 car, trying to hold off Bellamy right now. Bellamy going to take a peek to the inside and lap traffic ahead. Nick Bellamy just trying to find a way around Barnes, but when Barnes is sliding like that, that's going to make Bellamy hesitant to make a move and try to time it correctly. He might have it here into number 20, a little bit of a slide, a little bit of contact, and Barnes gets shuffled there into number 8, still fighting right in front of Frazier, and now it's a battle for second.
Yeah, and you know, it makes you wonder how worn out are these tires, and Frazier probably thinking, man, I got to get by him in a hurry, as he's hit the wall about 4 times now, you know. And we do know it is physically possible to blow a tire. You won't see it blow up into shreds like you might see on a NASCAR race, but you can blow a tire, and when you do, it will send you straight into the outside wall. That hasn't happened yet, but man, that car is loose. He just is having all sorts of trouble handling it. That puts him out of a podium spot into the 4th position. And the bad news for him, Greg, is even if we get a caution, the tires may be able to cool down, but he's not getting any new ones.
And all of a sudden, Travis Barnes, who just 10 laps ago looked like the driver to beat, has suddenly fallen outside of the podium and is going to need a caution to get himself back into it, as Nick Bellamy, looking for his first Northwest Tour victory in the number 20. He's only got to click off about 16 more laps, and he will have it here. 17 to go at the line for Bellamy, but heavy lap traffic in front of him, and a battle for second is going to be his best friend right now, and that's exactly what's fixing to happen, as Frazier and Hector are nose to tail. Frazier able to get a little bit better exit than Hector, but Hector's so good in the center of the corner here, able to get a run. These two drivers both love this racetrack. As Bellamy begins to pick through lap traffic, it's a battle for second between Frazier and Hector, going on about 1 second behind Bellamy, who's just going to try to pick through traffic and see if he can lock up this first win.
Yeah, he's trying to get that first win. 15 laps to go. 3 cautions out of 150 laps so far. Well, that'll be the scheduled distance if we don't get another caution. Again, I dare say this is probably one of the cleanest short track racing that we have had on LSR TV since we took over this company back on February 20th of 2020.
It has been spectacular, and hopefully the viewers out here watching are seeing this and saying, hey, we want more short track racing here on LSR TV. I hope that's what you want, because that's what you're going to get. 2 new series that we just announced earlier tonight, the Upper Edge Super Late Model Tour and the Upper Edge Dirt Super Late Model Tour, both coming to LSR TV in January of 2021 with more stuff in the works. So hopefully you guys like short track racing, because that's what's coming to LSR TV in 2021.
Yeah, it's definitely coming your way in 2021. We'll be here before you know it. You know, we're talking about 2021, Greg. We haven't even got through my favorite 2 holidays, and that is Stuff Your Face Holiday number 1 and Stuff Your Face Holiday number 2.
Oh yeah, those are definitely 2 of my favorite ones. We already had Gorge Yourself on Candy holiday.
Yeah.
That happened last weekend, a week ago yesterday. Actually, I'm still wearing off the sugar rush of stealing all my nieces and nephews' candy. Battle for second is heated up as Hector has caught Frazier in the number 32, trying to get a run right now in that number 82, but Frazier able to pull away, looking for a second here. Frazier, the defending champion of the tour. Hector has not won on the tour, and a caution is out. 10 laps to go, we have a caution.
And it's going to be Garrett Huffines in the 42 machine. As we'll take a look. And Greg, if he didn't have any help, as we're going to take a look, I have a feeling tires may have come into play.
Let's see. Well, I think tires came into play, but maybe not Huffines, because that's Barnes in the 8 car who had been fighting those tires for last 30 or so laps. And yeah, tires coming into play there, but not Huffines. Barnes just fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. Unfortunately, nothing left in those tires and just couldn't hang on that time. Barnes did tap, even though there was nothing really intentional about that. Barnes still took the tap, saying, yeah, I spun out, I'll take that one. So Travis Barnes tapping, and this is going to change the entire complexion of the race now, Charles, because now we're going to stack the field up again with Bellamy, Frazier, Hector, Franklin, and Anderson, your top 5.
Yeah, it's definitely going to shake some things up again. Nobody's going to be coming down pit road, I don't think. You can't take tires. Really no point to do so. So it would just be silly to come down. But 8 laps to go. The cutoff, what, about 5 laps? So this will not send us into overtime yet.
Should not send us into overtime, I do not believe. So we're going to reset everything, and the guy who is fuming right now, and the only guy who it might be hotter than the 143 degree track temperature right now, is probably the driver of that number 20, Nick Bellamy, because all he had to do was set it on cruise control and he would have had that first victory. Now he's got to wonder, do I have enough to hold these guys off?
Yeah, it's definitely something you have to wonder. And 2, one thing that we all are asking ourselves, I'm sure, and that's, of course, the very important question of, are we going to spin the tires on this restart? That's something you have to wonder about. And by the way, I know you told me we wouldn't see a particular person chiming in tonight, but so Aunt Kathy is popping in from Utah here tonight for the finish of the race.
Well, hello, Aunt Kathy. She made it in just in time, and she's got to love seeing her 2 boys in the series, 2nd and 3rd right now, Frazier and Hector, trying to track down Nick Bellamy in the number 20, under caution here for the final 5 laps. Here, going to be 5 to go at the line. Waiting to hear what's going on. And drivers are in the chat right now. They're discussing the tires right now. Caden Anderson saying his tires probably have about 20% tread left in them. Travis Barnes is saying his have to be 0 here in this one. So that's how abrased and abused these tires are right now. Lights are out on the pace car, Charles.
Yeah, and if we see someone get 0, trust me, you won't see a tire explode like you would in real racing. But if somebody's hit 0 before we end this race, I can promise you it will be very distinct. You will know it. We'll show it to you when we see it. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see if that does happen. But the green flag is back out. And I really think a single file restart was probably the safest way to go here anyway. Double file, and we might have seen some carnage.
Definitely. And it looks like perhaps Hector may have spun the tires just a little in the number 82, because Bellamy and Frazier are both able to break away just a little bit. Anderson going to the inside of Franklin right now for 4th. They're battling it out with just 3 laps to go. Going to be 2 at the line for Nick Bellamy, who's looking for his first career Northwest Tour victory in the number 20 at a Newman Lake, Washington, just outside of Spokane, just over by the Idaho border. It's one of the last towns you hit before you get to the Idaho border, and here he is 2 laps away from his first Tour victory.
Yes, he's going to take it down to the back stretch there. A little opening in the wall, about the only way to tell the difference when they're this zoomed in on him. But of course, we're coming up on the one to go. Right there is your CRN, 1 to go. White flag is in the air. I think it isn't about being fast right now for that 20 machine of Bellamy. It's about being smooth and easy on the throttle.
He has to come through 3 and 4, get a nice clean exit. He will do it. His first Northwest Tour victory. Nick Bellamy wins the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150 over the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval Dixie and Air Conditioning Thunder Car champion Seth Frazier. Bart Hector Jr. rounds out the podium. A great night for the drivers here at North Wilkesboro. Kyle Franklin and Cameron Doyle, another Wenatchee driver, was able to get around Caden Anderson at the end there to take the top 5.
Yeah, just an amazing race, as we'll see here and kind of recap just for a second as he does his burnout. Makes you wonder as he smacks the wall there, do you have any tires left to even do a burnout with?
I think he may have just used up whatever was left in that number 20 car. First Northwest Tour victory. Yeah, he's got enough to do that. Nick Bellamy, winner here of the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150 from North Wilkesboro, burning what little life he had left on the tires. And Charles, I think that's a product of him saving tires in the first half of the race. We saw he was very patient, picked his moments to make his passes on the likes of Frazier and then Barnes. Very, very carefully working his way through the field. But there you see him, your top 3, Bellamy, Frazier, and Hector. Charles, it was a great race here at Wilkesboro. Let's take our fans through the unofficial results here for tonight's Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150.
And a great race it was, getting the win here tonight. And of course, the 20 of Nick Bellamy. We just talked about him there. Second place is going to be Seth Frazier in the 32. In third place, the 82 of Bart Hector Jr. We'll be talking to those top 3 here momentarily, followed by Kyle Franklin, Cameron Doyle, Caden Anderson, who just couldn't quite get up into the top 3 here tonight, Garrett Sisk, Chris Carroll, Garrett Archer, and Hayden Plybon are going to be your top 10 here tonight.
Joey Bird finished 2nd last week, gets himself an 11th here tonight. Garrett Huffines caught up in that late race incident, rallies back to finish 12th over Shane Quinn in 13th, Josh Washington 14th, BJ Tidrick 15th, Brock Denny, after being up close to the top 5, winds up 16th after getting the damage. Bryce Beatty comes home 17th. Ryan Gormley 18th. Final car on the lead lap was Matt Hackathorn in the 84, finishing 19th. Travis Barnes was leading the way and looked like he may have been the car to beat in the middle stages of the race, but tire problems late relegate him to a 20th place finish. Cole Raz, Casey Garber, Dylan Huffines, and Josh Beal round out your field for this one here, Charles. Unbelievable performance by these drivers. We're going to take a quick break and thank some of our sponsors that we haven't had a chance to thank here tonight with the way this race went. When we come back, it'll be our post-race show here on LSR TV. We'll catch up with our top 3. You're watching the iRacing.com Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products on LSR TV and listening along on CRN Sports Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Wenatchee Valley Super Oval, your need for speed. For all the fun and racing action in Central Washington, go to Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. That keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole entire night. A family fun operational facility with a playground for the kids, great food, great beer, and so much more. The 2021 season passes are on sale now, along with gift cards. For all the information and the upcoming season, check out WVSO.com.
Is this your car? You could take me for a ride any day.
Hey, you take me for a stroll anytime. I can see you with me.
Welcome back to North Wilkesboro, everyone, for the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150, the post-race show here, brought to you by LSR TV. And it was a fantastic race here with Nick Bellamy picking up his first career iRacing.com Northwest Tour, presented by Joe's Racing Products victory, with Seth Frazier and Bart Hector Jr. rounding out the podium. And we have caught up with our top three, and we're going to start with third place, Bart Hector Jr. And Bart, a very patient drive for you today. Qualified third quick, just working your way through the field after the invert, and then when Travis Barnes started having those tire issues at the end, you and Seth Frazier, who were in a battle for the final podium spot, were both able to slide by there at the end.
Yeah, this whole race was tire conservation. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen, like with Barnes just like drifting the corner. Is just crazy. So the whole race, I made sure not to get loose off of every corner, and I think I was probably one of the better cars at the end there, running about low fours, high threes.
Oh, yeah. Bart, you mentioned that their tires were a big factor here. You know, we have to know if did you have a chance to look at your tires after this race? Of course, you only got one set. That was the set that was on the car. How worn out were these tires, and how close were they just to being at zero and just nothing left on them?
So my right rear percentage was 28, 27, and 41. So they're getting pretty worn.
Oh, you know, had this race been, another 50 laps or so, it would have made this race even more interesting than it already was. But just an outstanding job hanging on to a third place finish here tonight. You know, to handle these cars, as we saw, people that we knew and drivers we knew were really good drivers, losing these cars here tonight. You did a fantastic job to hang on to third place. Just an awesome job there. Greg, any final questions for Bart before we let him thank his sponsors?
Yeah, Bart, one more question here. Tell us about just the amount of competition here this season. Me and you have been talking about it quite a bit lately, just how awesome it is to see these huge car counts here in the series. I mean, you qualified third out of 56 here tonight, qualified up in the top 5 out of 63 last week. What's it like being able to race with all these drivers here from the Northwest?
It's awesome. This is going to be one of their better seasons yet. I mean, you guys have guys like Caden Anderson, Nick Bellamy, Seth, Garrett Archer joining us. We know how good he is. Plybon's with us. Huffines, Quinn, all those guys. This is going to be a great season, I think.
All right, Bart. Thank your sponsors here after a third place at Wilkesboro.
Thank Rocket Racing Setups for the scheme, and always thank Andy Fuller for building this cool computer. And thank you guys.
Third place, Bart Hector Jr. Moving on to second place. Here's Seth Frazier, the defending champion of the series. And Seth, showing why you're the defending champion here, as you were up in the top 5 nearly the entire race, battling out with the likes of Barnes, Hector, Bellamy for a while. Just tell us about how you were able to keep the car clean there, because you were in a battle pretty much the entire race. I don't think you got any chance to breathe.
Well, I didn't notice it if I did get a chance to breathe. The most part was just trying to keep the fenders on as much as possible and not boil the right rear tire. It was really hot, slick out there tonight, so it's pretty tough trying to conserve some tires.
Oh, yeah, I've got the same kind of question. Use tires. That was the key here tonight. And, we're looking at this track here. There is a lot of rubber and debris right here, all along the bottom, all along the top. How key was it to stay in the groove here and not get them into that loose stuff? And if you did, how did the car react a little bit different if you got in that loose stuff up on the top of the track?
If you get the marbles, you'll feel it for a lap or two. The car will kind of just be a little bit less underneath you, a little bit more free through the corner. So you definitely want to avoid the marbles. And then if you overheat the tire and get it hot or spin them, it took a lap or two of really conserving some tires for them to come back to you. So it was pretty difficult all night long balancing that.
One final question before we toss it back to Greg, see what he's got for you. And that is, you're worried about spinning your own car. You've got to maintain and just be smooth. But how much of your concentration is on you spinning, and how much is on the competition out there, watching them to make sure that, they don't get loose, spin out, and you get collected in someone else's mistake?
Well, the most important thing is to take care of your own car. So you're focusing, mainly on conserving your car and keeping it underneath you, but at the same time you are trying to look ahead and see what might be happening ahead of you. So it's definitely a balance you got to kind of play with.
Definitely a balance. And Greg, we'll toss it back to you.
Seth, this was the first time that the Northwest Tour was able to visit North Wilkesboro here. And tell us a little bit about the excitement the drivers had being able to come to North Wilkesboro, because ever since it was announced that it was coming to the server, this has been circled on everybody's dream list as a track they wanted the Northwest Tour to hit. Tell us about how excited the mood was when it was announced that you made the announcement that we were going to North Wilkesboro.
Well, I think everyone enjoys all the historical, short tracks around the country. Hopefully we'll see Hickory and some others come along tire racing here before too long. I think we all enjoy trying something different, so I think it was a fun night for most of us.
All right, Seth, we'll see you in Iowa next weekend, but thank your sponsors on the number 32.
Well, I want to thank Mike Wood for painting my car and painting a bunch of the league guys' car and making us all look good. I need to thank Aunt Kathy for watching out there. I need to thank Wenatchee Valley Super Oval for coming on and sponsor us tonight. Jeremy was the promoter at Wenatchee, was awesome enough to put together kind of a gift package for one fan out there and for the winner tonight. So it's pretty cool to have all the local tracks and different businesses coming on board and helping us. And if anyone out there is looking for a date, Greg Rent's the announcer here. He's got a hell of a voice. Interesting looks, but hell of a voice. So if anyone's looking for a date, get a hold of me on Facebook, Seth Frazier, and I'll point you the right direction.
I knew that was coming. All right, second place, Seth Frazier. Congratulations, buddy. And I believe we have caught up with the winner here for the first time in victory lane for the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, Nick Bellamy. And Nick, your first victory here on the tour, and man, you seemed like the entire second half of the race there, you were the fastest car. Did you save your tires in the first half and just go in the second half, or what was going on there?
I absolutely saved my tires. When I saw Barnes behind me when I was battling with Sisk and he took the outside, I just kind of let that battle happen in front of me. And then as he continued to check out during that 88 lap run, I just continued to save my stuff and keep Seth behind me. And then as the run was going on, I was noticing I was catching back up to him, which was the plan, and it worked out really well. I wish we would have went green to the end, but that last stint after the caution, I was able to maintain the lead.
Well, again, I want to first congratulate you on your first win here in the series. Again, a long green flag run. You said 88 laps. These cars were getting loose. We want to put on something. I meant to ask this earlier, but we just remembered it. The track temp during this race, 144 degrees. It's done on purpose to make these tracks hot, to make these cars handle how they would in real life. So, two-part question here for you. One, how did it make the car handle being that much hotter? And two, now that you're in victory lane, you get that chicken dinner. Are you just going to just throw the chicken on the track and cook it?
Well, this is a very competitive league, and I'm fortunate to race with these men each weekend, and I look forward to it. I had a mishap last weekend that ended me with last place points in the A main for taking tires, so this really feels good to come back. I've had a handful of podiums racing with these guys, but never a win. It's just some stiff competition, so I'll honestly take making the A main each weekend, and then a top 10 is a personal win to me, but it feels fantastic to finally get this done. And with the temperature, I love it. I perform under hot, sticky, slick tires. And like last weekend's setup was a bit tight for myself, but if we continue these hot temps, heating these tires up, that's I dig a loose race car.
Well, definitely a loose car is a fast car. You prove that here tonight. You get the win. Greg, any final questions for him?
Nick, it's been a long time coming, that first win here on the tour. We always see you run fast here in the tour. And are you excited about being able to get that monkey off your back and move on to try to start clicking them away now? We go to Iowa next week. Are you excited to go to Iowa with that monkey off your back? Okay, I've got to win. Now it's just putting it all together for a points run here.
Oh, I absolutely feel confident moving forward. I do bring a lot of speed, but like I said, it's a very competitive league, and the top 5 is a win for most guys here. Saving the tires during that race was interesting. It's the first time I've had to do something like that and just not try and catch Barnes when he went by me, but I figured I could catch him in the long run, and the plan paid off.
Well, Nick, it's your first win, so it's your first chance to thank the guys who got you here. Who's your sponsors on the 20?
I'd like to thank Quinn's Property Management, Better Hall Incorporated, as well as Mike Wood for giving me this lovely paint job on the 20 car. I thank my parents for the support, and I know they're watching. My lovely girlfriend, Andrea, as well, for putting up with me practicing, and she was upstairs watching me run this race, and I just feel fortunate to have people around me that enjoy my hobby as much as I do.
Winner for the first time on the iRacing.com Northwest Tour, presented by Joe's Racing Products, Nick Bellamy, your winner of the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, man.
And Charles, as we wrap up here on LSR TV, got to ask you your final thoughts on this incredible race here tonight at North Wilkesboro.
I really can't say more than I said earlier. You know, one of my favorite cars on the series, the Super Late model, one of my favorite tracks since it came out, probably my favorite track. You know, you get some of the fastest short track asphalt cars on one of the most iconic tracks. It couldn't have been any better of a race. 4 cautions, 150 laps, all around just an amazing race. And again, you know, I'm thrilled to be here for the iRacing Northwest Tour.
Next week, we head to Iowa for the 3rd visit here for the Northwest Tour. Brad Carpenter picked up the win here last year in dominating fashion here at Iowa, where we go next week. Don't forget, at Wednesday night's Iowa practice, the drivers are going to vote on which picture they are determining to be the winner of the prize package, courtesy of our friends at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. You're getting the exact same package that Nick Bellamy's taking home: a koozie, a sticker, and a t-shirt. So hopefully you guys got all those posts in, and the drivers are going to vote on which ones were the best on Wednesday at Iowa practice, and then you will be getting a hold of to get your information for your prize package if your picture is the winner. So make sure you're checking your messages for that. But on behalf of Charles Wooten and everyone here at LSR TV, thank you for tuning in tonight to tonight's Wenatchee Valley Super Oval 150 from North Wilkesboro Speedway. I'm Greg Renson. We'll see you next week in Iowa.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we